All right.
Here we are.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Good Friday.
Hopefully the microphones are working.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be good. That would be bad if they didn't. But yeah, thanks for joining. If you're here, if you're catching us after the show, thanks for joining after the fact. A lot to talk about this week. There's always a lot to talk about.
It's an eventful world.
Yeah. If you're watching, please jump into the live chat. We'd like to hear from you. Like to hear what you have to say. Um, Especially when we're going to talk about some of these controversial topics. Weird things. It's like for some reason the transgender world is really trying to get us to talk about them. I feel like.
Well, they've been killing people.
Well, there's that. Yeah.
Trying. Did you hear about that other attempted that they
Yeah, I
caught
did. They
somebody?
thwarted. Yeah, they
They
thwarted an
caught
attempt.
somebody who was crying. It's like, oh boy.
It's just the radicalism, right? Like there's a ton of transgender people out there that aren't radical, but it's the radical ones that you hear from. It's the 80-20 rule. I'm sure 80% of transgendered people or people that identify as transgendered in some way are fine. They're not radical in any way.
Yeah.
They probably think the movement, quote unquote, movement is stupid. And they're happy with the progress of society that we're moving towards, acceptance and I hate to use the word tolerance. I think tolerance is a stupid word. You don't just tolerate people like that. You tolerate people you hate, you know? So
Yeah.
I think it's just acceptance. It's just like learning to see something as normal, I suppose, in some way.
But it is tolerance just because it's like even if you hate them, you tolerate them is kind of the thing, right? Isn't that
Yeah,
the
I hate it.
point?
I don't tolerate like I've never used the word tolerance for like gay, lesbian, transgender, any of
Yeah,
that
but
because
that's
I don't
because
tolerate. I'm
you
fine with it.
don't hate them.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. So I'm sure there's a lot of people that tolerate it, which is sad. I'm sure there's a lot of people that tolerate us.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get right into the first thing.
All right. So in lieu, uh, sorry. In lieu of the Trump indictment, now we have calls from the conservative side to go after Biden, uh,
Yeah.
which
Are they ballsy enough to do it?
don't know.
You know what? There seems to be uh,
Like, there's a lot there. Like,
we,
that's the thing. Like, Trump. This is what they were saying. It was Dave Smith on Tim Pool's show the other day. They were talking about how, like, for a real estate developer in New York, Trump has to be like the cleanest guy in the industry.
Mhm,
Like, because they have nothing.
right.
They have literally nothing
They've
on
been
him.
trying. It's not like they haven't been
They
trying.
don't have him on like jaywalking
Yeah.
or anything. And like, there's so many things that like I think as Dave Smith was saying, because like New York's one of those lefty states where they just have fucking laws coming out of their ears. Like you can't go get a pizza without breaking the law.
Well, he doesn't even drink. So I'm sure he
Yeah,
doesn't do drugs or any of that kind of stuff. He probably his whole life has been about, his ego, trying to build himself, his name, building his wealth. So he's obviously hyper focused on those things and not on other things.
yeah.
So to say that he hasn't broken laws is completely silly. Obviously he's broken laws. But
No, I think now you can say that he probably hasn't
well, I think
because they would have dug that shit up. They
yeah.
would have dug up the like Donald Trump rented out an apartment for 3 months that was like
Yeah.
illegal. Like they would have like the shit that they're pulling out now. Like they would have found something like that and they would have thrown it at the
There's
wall.
like there's heavily breaking laws, and then there's the shit that people do. The um, different things that they're going to do to shell money from taxes and all those kinds of things. I'm sure he's guilty of all that stuff. I mean, come on. I think anybody at his wealth level is guilty of those kinds of things.
I think
Hush
it's
money
fair to say he's not at
payments.
all.
Really, eh?
I think they would have found it. I think they would have found stuff. I think they would have like the shit that like the scrutiny that they're putting on this man, how deeply they're going, and
Yeah,
that they're coming out with like these allegations that have no bearing that like everybody knows has no bearing because we all know exactly what happened. Like there's
right.
a reason that none of this amounted to anything in the past. And they don't have any of that. Like if that existed, I'm sure they would have pulled it up and it would be there.
Well, that's a good argument for it, but I don't know. It just seems to me that it would be, uh, it's just so highly implausible or impossible even that he's not guilty of something. I just maybe he's just good at getting away with it. Maybe he isn't. I don't know. But I would just say the likelihood of him actually having some dirt is high. But like you say, they haven't been able to dig it up, and I'm
Yeah, that's
sure
why
they've got
I completely
it.
disagree with that.
Yeah, they've got everybody and their brother looking for it. So I don't know.
Pulling up nothing. Like I'm surprised that they haven't like found some shit that he did in high school
Yeah, I know.
and
Right?
tried to throw that at the wall.
Yeah,
Let's see if it
that'll
sticks.
be the
Well,
next thing.
one time, and Donald Trump turned in his English paper 3 days late in the eighth grade. Like, is this the man you want as your president? I can't believe that they haven't tried anything like that because the man's fucking squeaky clean apparently.
Yeah, well, he's Teflon Don, right? Um, yeah, maybe, maybe. I guess you make a good argument for it, but I don't know. Just the realist in me thinks that somebody at
I
that
think that's the
level.
case. That's it. Like at this point, it's almost like Uh, if we narrow down to like a specific crime, I know with Trump is more of a generic, they're just looking for anything. But
Mhm.
if I'm like, you know what? You're skimping out on your taxes. You're not paying taxes. You must have like some cash buried in your house. And I come in here and I tear the place apart and I don't find anything. And then I leave and I'm like, I know he's guilty of something, but I
Mm.
didn't find anything. That's what I see
Oh
it
yeah,
now. That's kind of what I see now at this point. It's like all the evidence points that that he's not really guilty of anything. There's no especially serious crimes. I mean, the laws on the books in the U.S. are fucking ridiculous on a lot of them because they don't take them away. They just add them.
hmm
So sure, there's some random things that nobody knows about that like everybody's broken that law.
hmm
But in terms of anything that's like serious that anyone would actually take seriously, I think if there was anything,
No, and I agree with that. I agree with that
it
statement.
would have been
Yeah, but
drug out.
that's my point.
Yeah,
I'm saying he's not completely squeaky clean, but it's for one. I mean, even if he is guilty of those little things, those little tax evasion type shit, everybody fucking does it. You're just witch hunting this guy because of his political differences. So it's like or hate Trump. And again, I'm in the middle on Trump. I really whatever. I mean,
I
I
love the man.
yeah, I'm not really a Trumper. I've never really been a fan. I'm fine with him. I was more of a fan of him outside of president.
I'm a
Um,
fan following his presidency.
well,
I didn't
I
know who he was
yeah.
really. Like, I mean,
See,
you
I
know
did, yeah,
Donald Trump, right?
yeah,
You know who he is, but is he's kind of like before my time a little bit. But he becomes president. Like, I was against Trump in the campaign era. Like,
mhm,
I kind of was like, oh boy, here's let's see what's gonna happen. Like when he got elected,
right,
and then his presidency happened. I'm like, okay. Like, not only was he way better a president than he had any business being, coming
mhm.
in from being a real estate mogul to just WWE wrestler, like famous guy, movie star, whatever, reality TV star. He did a good job.
No,
Like
I don't
there's
disagree with that at all.
plenty of things that he could have done differently, but like
Yeah,
we're talking about a major we're talking about a huge improvement from dog shit. Like we went from dog shit to a brick.
right,
Right? Because like and it's really hard to go any further than that in a single president because of the huge mess that we have
yeah,
uh, that we're working with.
yeah.
Um,
No,
that's why I like him.
I definitely. So at first, I wasn't at all a fan of him. But then, yeah, like you, I mean, he grew on me a little bit as president because he did.
Well, things were working, right? The economy was great,
Yeah.
good foreign
Well, I mean,
policy.
yeah, there were some arguments to be made on different sides of that as far as whether he inherited something. There's always that argument though, but I don't think he.
Well,
I
but
think he
I
was great
think
on foreign policy. That's what
I
I
think you can make a direct conclusion that Trump's economic policy was good for the economy because he had a
America first.
America first and a deregulation
Yeah,
mindset.
that was like Reagan was like that with the
Yeah,
deregulation shit.
and so I think as a result, the economy was booming because of the deregulation, giving private corporations more freedom to do what they needed to do,
Right.
and the America First, like incentivizing corporations to move into the United States opposed to going away.
There's always the argument though that presidents always make, or former presidents make, where they say, "Oh, it was the administration before him that set the groundwork so he could succeed." And I mean, there is an argument to that
I
sometimes.
think that's only in the short term, and it
Well,
depends on what you're doing, right? So,
but 4
like,
years is short.
if you come in and you do the exact same things as the previous president, then you could say that the previous president laid the groundwork. But then you can just argue that the previous president did the right thing, and then they just carried on doing the right thing. But, like, for example, Biden comes in, like, he's done so many things at this point that have shot the economy,
Yeah.
right? He gets rid of all the
Well,
America surplus.
Biden's garbage.
Yeah, gets rid of the America First stuff. Just print more and more money, send it off to Ukraine to fight a proxy war with Russia. Like,
I think Biden's
uh,
the worst president, well, in my lifetime for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I think he's going to be the worst president of this century. Like maybe the last two. Like he's garbage. He really is garbage
And I wonder if they'll try to bring charges up against him because,
because they don't want him to run again.
well, no, the Republicans
No,
just because
I bet you get some help on the other side too. If they put somebody else in better
no,
that could
because I
run.
think it discredits them because everybody knows about his crimes
Mm.
and they've kind of like not so like I think it kind of hurts them sort of in popularity if all of a sudden everyone's in favor of charging Biden with like crimes of corruption that we knew about because of the Hunter Biden laptop story that they
I
desperately
know,
tried to
but
cover up.
these are like chess moves. Like you don't see the move and they're trying to play like 5, 6, 7 moves ahead. So they'll do something in, trying to make this other thing happen. Kind of like the Trump thing. I think on the surface it looks like this is great for Trump, right? You're like, okay, he's being indicted on these bullshit
It was he went
okay.
up in
That's what I'm
polling
saying.
immediately, yeah.
But if you look at it, maybe they're trying to get Trump to beat DeSantis because they feel like DeSantis could win a presidential election, but if Trump gets the nod for the Republican nomination, then he won't beat him in the general election. So maybe that's what they're thinking. That's the whole purpose to it. Because otherwise, it looks like they're shooting themselves in the foot here by doing all this shit. And then you make Bragg the public enemy, or the liberal enemy number one, right? And they say, oh well, he was rogue and he did his own thing.
Especially when like this guy's claiming that there are other charges that he like won't or there are other crimes because I think like they're accusing him of felony or they're felony charges, but in order for there to be a felony, you have to present like a felony crime. So it's like if there are other crimes on top of a felony crime, the whole thing is a felony. So they're trying to make this a felony, but they haven't stated a felony crime that he's accused of, but he
Yeah,
said that there is one, but he won't say what it is. So he's just like kind of alluding. He's like, "No,
so
just trust me, bro."
fucked. Yeah, it's so fucked up.
And even like the lefties are calling them out on that.
But
They're like,
it's
"There's nothing here."
But and that's why, like, if you look at it from my perspective, it kind of screams like they know this and they're setting it up. Like they know this is going to fail, but they know that Trump's going to get bolstered by it, and then Trump ends up getting the nomination for the Republican nomination over DeSantis, and they feel like they can beat Trump as opposed to DeSantis. Like DeSantis is a fresh face. He's got a lot of Trumpisms to him, a lot more polished. Fucking Boy Scout. He's squeaky clean. There's nothing to the guy. He
Yeah.
was a former, or like he is, I'd say, he was in the army, or
Who?
DeSantis.
DeSantis?
He was.
Yeah, he
He
did
served somehow.
something,
He
I
served.
think.
I'm sure exactly. Don't quote me on where, but I know he's a vet. So he's. It's all like America, America, America with this guy. So he's going to get all the diehard Trump fans will actually literally just go for him if he wins, like if he were to get the nomination. And then you're going to get a lot of the independents too, I think, and a lot of the true liberals that that are just sick and tired of the leftist dogma that they're pushing so far, and
Yeah.
this garbage presidency. They'll be like, all right, let's fucking go with a more centrist Republican. Because I
Yeah.
would say DeSantis is pretty much a centrist Republican. You're the truest
It
sense of a
depends,
Republican.
man. There's no such thing as centrist anymore because, like,
But
if
it's
you
like
don't
common sense, right?
agree with them,
Yeah.
you're far right. And far right encapsulates like everything that isn't communist, basically.
Mhm.
And so it's like it's forcibly polarized to where like because like that's the thing about the Trump supporters is there is no core ideology behind the Trump supporters. It's just everybody that's against the establishment.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah, but that's the diehards, right? But there are a lot of I personally know a lot of Trump supporters who are more centrist types. Um, Even when I was I was never against Trump, but I was always I would say I was not for him, but I wasn't really against. But I probably leaned a little bit against. So when I would talk to friends that were for Trump, it was they're just they're for that they're for the non polished politician in him that's going to speak the truth. And he's saying all the shit, like he's calling out the swamp. He's calling the news media what they are, fake, and everybody knew they're fake.
I don't even think it's about necessarily speak the truth because there's an element to that, him saying was true, but I think it's more in the vein of people like that he says what he thinks.
Like an everyday kind of person
Whether
or
they
every man.
agree that whether they think he's right or not, they like that he's saying what he thinks. So at least they know what he thinks. And
Yeah.
that that way you can because you can go from there and have like an honest dialogue. But if you don't know what somebody thinks, like in the case of Joe Biden, you don't know what Joe Biden thinks.
Mhm.
You have no idea what Joe Biden thinks. He's all over the place. You don't even know if he thinks at all. So like with that, it's very difficult. Like you have no idea. You can't argue with anybody or anything because it's so slippery. Whereas with Trump, it's like, here's what he thinks, and he said it. And
Yeah.
then when people try to say, "Oh, Trump thinks this," you'd be like, "No,
No.
that's literally not what he said. He said this."
Yeah.
Like what? Trump's a white nationalist. He said white nationalists are good people. It's like, no, he said the exact opposite. Here, listen to the audio, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
But it's like I've said before with the as far as the information, it almost doesn't matter because it's first who gets it out first. They can they can edit it. They can take a sound bite, put the sound bite out, and people will believe it, and then try and sway that initial belief.
yeah,
Good luck. I have friends like that. That will repeat the sound bites.
yeah,
They're like, "That's true." I'm like, "That's not fucking true. Do a little bit of diving."
yeah,
So, we'll see. This is I don't think it's gonna do anything. Honestly, I think he'll get off, but I my personal feel is that this was contrived in some way.
yeah. And they were saying that Trump's Secret Service would like be in jail with him if he went to jail.
That's funny.
Yeah, I'm wondering. This is a live thought. I'm wondering if it looks better if I look like this.
I don't know.
You
Put
know
it in
what
the
I'm
comments,
saying?
people.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
What do you
What
think?
do you think? Because it looks like we're looking at each other, kind of.
Just so you know, our orientation is
So when I
Tyler.
look like this, when I'm looking
Yeah.
this way, I'm looking at Alex right now.
Right.
When I'm looking at this way, I'm looking at our
Yeah,
monitor.
because my camera's facing this way. His camera is over here, facing him that way. So that's our
Yeah.
orientation. We're looking at each other to our right.
I almost wonder if it looks better as a
Did
video.
the camera maybe flip? That might have happened.
No, it's always been like this.
Oh, okay. Well, we shouldn't talk too much about this. It's gonna suck
No,
on the rewatch. Sorry, anybody watching that all the
a
way
little bit
through.
of a
little,
discussion.
little
Let
side
us know what you
discussion.
think.
Yeah, but put it in the comments if what you think. Maybe.
What looks better?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. This
Yeah. So this is hilarious.
oh, this is awful. Is what this is. This is a
Dylan
fuck up in every way.
Mulvaney, uh, and Bud Light.
Yeah. Okay. So we apologize right away. We like Bud Light Lime.
We should find a different lime
Good
beer.
luck. They're fucking
Is there
delicious.
like a Coors Light lime?
Well, there probably is. There probably is other
At
rhymes,
this
but
point,
you know what though? This is delicious.
it's
Um,
delicious, but
I think Bud Light knows they
do you
fucked up.
want to drink this face?
Yeah, I think Bud Light knows they fucked up here. So, why don't you bring it
Yeah.
up to speed for anybody who doesn't know what this is?
Well, Bud Light kind of partnered up with Dylan Mulvaney. And I guess the whole thing was it was a one full year. Dylan Mulvaney celebrating 365 days of womanhood.
Of being a girl.
Uh, this man is a woman, and Bud Light just goes and
What pisses me off
does a
about this,
deal with
I'll
it
use the
with
appropriate
him.
because I guess she's had the gender reassignment
No, she
surgery.
hasn't.
I thought she has.
No, no, no. Dylan Mulvaney is not. Dylan Mulvaney
You sure?
is the normalize the bulge
No, because
person.
no, I think she's had it now. I think she's had the surgery since. But yeah, remember she was
I
wearing
don't
those
know.
shorts and she was like normalize the bulge. But I'm pretty
That
sure
was
she's
yeah.
had it since. Uh, so assuming
Uh,
she's had it, which I'm Fairly sure she has.
I don't
Because
know.
she was off for a little while. She was away for a little while, and I'm pretty sure that's where
I
she was going.
can't
And she's had her
say.
face restructured too. She's had that stuff done to try and look more like a woman. And I think she did something with her voice. But anyways, so let's use the preferred pronouns for this um, lady.
Um,
Anyways, so just the fact that
what's the surgery called?
I don't know, bottom surgery, I guess.
Yeah.
Gender reassignment surgery.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
Um, yeah, I've kind of lost my thought a little because we were tangenting there, but um, see, my point with this, for one, I'll make this point before I get into another tangent on something else. Bud Light, what are you doing? You're a beer. Like, do you think that your core customer base are ideologically all over the trans movement? I'm not saying that they're against it necessarily, or that kind of like someone like me. I drink beer, but I'm not hoping my beer gets on the movement. So like, what the fuck are you doing? You have
Yeah.
NASCAR, football. I don't know what else would be
Well,
country music. Like
everything
everything
conservative
kind of conservative is your fan base. What the fuck are you doing with this? Just stay the fuck out of politics. I don't understand. Why aren't these companies learning?
because
It does
they.
you no good.
Well, I think Bud Light actually came out and said that it was like a rogue leftist employee that like
Yeah,
decided to push this thing.
I
But
have
I
a
mean,
feeling that's what
someone has to sign off on
I
this.
feel that's bullshit. This is a fucking national campaign. Like you're running this shit. Like it's not like you can go, oh, I'm just putting a sticker on a fucking can. This is going through their national distribution services and shit. So you got to go up to somewhere pretty high up to get that kind of shit to happen.
Huh.
So bullshit. I call fucking bullshit. You stepped in shit now and you're trying to walk it back. Why don't you just get out and say, hey, look, we fucked up. We're sorry. We should just stay the fuck out of politics. We're gonna. That would be a great. Here's
Yeah.
their new campaign. No politics, just beer.
Oh, that'd be great. They sell a lot of beer.
I think so. You
They'd be
just say,
the number one beer overnight.
yeah, they could just say,
Everybody be like,
yeah,
yes,
we stepped in.
give me a Bud
Yeah,
Light.
we stepped in it. We're sorry. We stink. No politics, just beer. There's your fucking whole thing.
Yeah.
You're welcome, bud. Now
Quick.
send us a check because my services are not free,
Yeah. Quick.
and I fucking buy enough of your shit, but because I like it, fuck you.
Quick. Quick. Bing chat search and Google search
No,
only says the facial
oh,
feminization
maybe
surgery.
I could be wrong, but
There's no.
I thought
I
so.
don't feel like it would have pushed
It's
so hard
legitimate.
on this normalize the bulge thing. I think that stems from a desire to keep it.
You know what? Then listen. This
You
is
know,
this is the way I look at it. If you're a transgender person, and God love you if you are, and you're going through all that those fucking issues that you're going through.
unfortunately,
If you
God
want to go
doesn't love
through
you.
you, yes. Well, which God depends. Yeah. You're going
The
through all
one
those
true
issues.
God.
Yeah. Um, then you know what? You're going through all the reassignment and all that kind of stuff. Hey, you know what? Good on you. That's pretty fucking. That takes a lot. I'll give you that. It takes a lot. I don't know if I can handle that, but I probably just live in my situation and be like, fuck it. But somebody who's gonna play on the whole role, the transgender, call themselves a woman for 365 fucking days and aren't gonna go ahead and get rid of their dick. Well, you're not a fucking woman. You're just a dude fucking around. So get your shit together, and then we can all say, okay, well, you're a transgendered woman. Now at this point, now all you are is you're just playing to fucking culture.
Dylan is just a freak show.
I think he's a grifter. I think he's just playing on what's popular
Did
right now.
something, it worked.
Yeah.
Because like he was doing the got my hiking heels on, going for a hike.
That's just insulting, I find.
Exactly.
Like
That's like the whole angle that Tim Pool takes. Like this is just like hitting on women.
it seems like a spoof. Like it seems like you're fucking around when you're saying stuff like that. It's
Like
like
you're making a
oh,
joke, but the fact that you're being serious is like insulting to women, as if women act like that.
imagine if we found out,
Like
like we found out soon that he was just fucking with everybody for this long. Be like, holy shit, that's some staying power. The long game, playing the long game. Yeah, I don't understand. I think a guy like this hurts the transgendered movement.
like this, out with the Bud Light.
Oh,
Will Coors Light be next?
so you saw what Kid Rock did. I told you about
No.
it. It might even be in here somewhere. But
Yeah, they're showing a bunch of.
yeah, he puts a bunch of Bud Light out on a bench. And he takes his, I don't know, maybe it's an AR. I'm not sure what kind of rifle it is. He takes his rifle and he shoots it all up, and he basically says, fuck Bud Light. That he, or Anheuser Busch. Actually, he doesn't say Bud Light. He just says fuck Anheuser Busch.
Do you think there's an element of so this is like it's like how do I say it without being mean? I'm just gonna fuck it and be mean. Like this is a pathetic male physique, right?
Oh,
It's frail.
well, sure, yeah.
It's
But I mean, if he's going through all of
no,
the
but what I'm suggesting is there an element of like men who find themselves in this scenario
effeminate
where they
men,
just they're not necessarily innately feminine, but they found themselves kind of like physically inferior or like whoops
oops,
um just physically not up to par with like other men, and like they're dainty kind of, and like they're weak, and so they lean into that, and they think, and they just play this, well, I'm just gonna embrace like femininity now, and I'm gonna like embrace that element. I wonder if like that's a thing.
could be. But honestly, what I think it is, I think it's simpler than that. I think it's just somebody who sees the cultural shifts and is jumping on it. It's
Well,
like, here's an opening.
that's this guy
Yeah, here's
specifically.
an
Sure,
opening.
that's this guy specifically. But there are a lot of people who are not,
Yeah,
posting TikToks, but
I think you've
who
got
are like
so many
jumping onto
subsectors.
this thing.
Like, you got so many subsectors, but I think those are the small. Like, I think this is my personal feeling. I don't have any stats to back this up, so don't fucking shit on me for this. But I think the overwhelming majority of people that say they're transgender are probably transgendered in some way, or they feel something. I don't know necessarily if they're like full on transgendered, but there's something that they feel is not in line with their current sort of state. And then this is all bolstering it for them to say, okay, now they want to speak up. I think there's a lot of legitimacy in that, but I think there's a lot of these fucking grifters that are jumping on it and going, no, me too, for attention.
Yeah,
And they're making it worse for the quote unquote movement.
there's a thing about it. I remember in the early days of like the woke stuff, stumbling on like a Tumblr post that was, it was back when they were like there was 42 genders. Right now there's like an infinity gender. There is no, like it's a spectrum or whatever. Um, and they listed in this Tumblr thread, they had listed out all 42 genders,
Right.
and I was reading through them, and I remember noticing that the main theme of these genders was that they were um, prescriptive. So it was like, okay, I'm a boy, but I don't really like sports. But I don't like frilly dresses, so like I'm something else. I'm
Right.
like this thing. Or like I'm a girl and I don't like frilly dresses, but I kind of like being outside. So like this is one
Those
thing.
used to be tom girls,
Well, exactly.
like a tomboy or whatever, right? Like
Exactly.
so,
Like they're like
that,
they're very prescriptive where they're like,
yeah,
no, no, no. Like it isn't the case that people are different.
right,
It's the case that there are all these genders, and like there are these specific prescriptive categories where like, well, if you're this way, then you're this gender. And if you're this way, you're that gender. Instead of it just being like, well, there are two genders, and it's biological,
right,
and the individuals within those are individuals. They're different. They're themselves, and
yeah.
everybody is themselves in some way. Like no two people are identical, except identical twins.
Well, it's honestly it's online that's done it. It's like social media and stuff has given these people platforms. So now
Yeah,
it's easy to find like people that think somewhat like them, or they're easily convinced. That you say somebody says something emphatic. It's almost the equivalent to like cult leaders, right? Like if a cult leader had enough people to listen to their message, they're very convincing type of people. So nowadays, like someone like David Koresh, let's say, right? Waco, Texas, the Branch Davidian guy. If he were to be around when social media was big, Holy shit, man! That guy was very charismatic. He was very, or Charles Manson. Here's another guy, very charismatic. You know, uh, oddly enough, charged with murder, but I don't think they ever really found that he was a part of any of the murders necessarily. He was kind of like conspiracy to commit murder. Right? Like he
Well,
put people.
Manson was weird.
Yeah, but I'm
Manson
saying,
had like CIA
but
ties,
he was very charismatic.
and you get into jail, and they let them out of jail,
Yeah,
and it was like, yeah, there's conspiracy theories about that guy,
yeah. We
but he
should
had
talk about
something
that
to
at
do
some
with
point.
like MK Ultra and
Right.
um, like the CIA was giving him LSD and stuff like that. Is what they think.
Don't get into that tangent, man. That sounds
Yeah.
interesting. We're gonna go right the fuck off the rails here. But
Yeah, listen to the Joe Rogan podcast with I forget the guy's name, but there's I want to say Roger Stone,
Mm.
but there's a guy that like wrote a whole book about it. He's like an expert, studied the
Oh, are you
Manson
talking about
case.
the director of oh, what's his face? Of like Casino and Goodfellas and stuff?
So,
Oh,
is that who Roger Stone is?
I don't think is it Roger Stone?
I don't. Oh,
No, no,
Roger Stone's a different
no,
guy.
no. Roger Stone. Yeah, that's the dude that was
He was a
Trump's campaign.
politics guy.
Uh, no, look up.
Barry Manson case guy.
That's funny.
Tom O'Neill.
Tom O'Neill. All right.
Yeah, that's got to be it. Was Charles Manson a
Oh,
CIA asset? Yeah, this guy,
yeah.
100% this
Oh,
guy.
yeah. Oh, I've seen him. Yeah, I've seen
Yeah,
him before.
fascinating podcast. We got a little on the podcast.
Damn, that's in there. Let's
Uh,
bring it back to finish it up. This topic here. Sorry for the small tangent.
should we
We're live.
transition? We got another.
Oh, actually, yeah,
Ironically, we'll transition.
tied in.
Uh, yeah, we'll go right over to this story. Um,
Yeah, this one's wow for
everybody
me.
knows Chris from Mr. Beast.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody.
Wow.
The younger generation knows Chris from
Yeah,
Mr.
a
Beast.
lot of people.
Um, he is now doing HRT, but he's claiming to be gender non-conforming, not transgender.
If anybody
I
wondered,
just don't understand this in the slightest.
if anybody like me wondered why the hair, this explains it. I thought he was like looking a lot more feminine,
I haven't
but
seen
any new videos?
any new
I've been
videos,
watching them all, so
so yeah.
I've seen them and I've seen the yeah. I mean, it kind of went. It was fast, like from one video to the next, where it was like a pretty big change. So I don't know if there was a good delay between the videos or what happened, but I'm sure there was probably in filming and stuff, right? But this one is bizarre. You gonna read any of it, or we're just gonna talk about what we know?
Like we don't know anything, man.
Well, I
This
mean,
is
what we
such
know
a
of the article.
weird situation. Like, is it about wow?
Yeah, that's what we were speculating before we got on the podcast. We were speculating the idea that um, maybe this is some kind of I don't. There's a severance that would happen if he were to leave Mr. Beast, right? He would have to make himself something.
But he already
But he
is
is,
something,
but
right? He's
he's
got 1 million followers on Twitter. Who knows how
but he's
many he will
tied to
have on
Mr. Beast,
YouTube?
right?
Yes.
How do you make this severance and then do your own thing?
However, well,
You know, you've always got the
Jake
Mr. Beast.
did it.
Did he?
Do you remember?
Yeah, the Viking guy, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think
So
he did too much, did has he?
I think he's got like over 2 million
Well, yeah,
subscribers
but
on YouTube.
I know, but okay,
Are
2 million
you gonna
subscribers.
pretend that that's not
I'm not
much?
saying it isn't much, but
He's got 1.6
I'm
million
saying versus
subscribers.
being with a guy where he was one
Yeah,
of the
but
stars.
this is your show.
Yeah, but he's been gone for a while too. So I mean, I'm not saying anything. Listen, I'm not disparaging. That's amazing.
Yeah.
We have a whole 63
And his
subscribers.
view
So
count is kind of low
I
for
just
1.6 million subscribers. Oh, but he's not uploading very frequently, which
that's
is
6 days ago.
yeah. But 1 month,
3.9K.
2 months, 3 months,
Yeah, holy
5 months,
shit!
5 months, 6 months, 6 months. So like
Wow, he's
he might like 130. So he might have done a lot better when he first started.
yeah.
And then
Well, this is what my point is. It's like if you leave
but
Mr.
a part
Beast, it
part of it
doesn't seem like
is that name, that recognition. You get that recognition on Mr. Beast. It's like it's always been that thing where like you jumpstart your career. That's why everybody wants to go on Rogan. That's why everybody wants to be on the late night shows and all that jazz.
but you jump it there and then people really like you there and
Mm.
follow you somewhere else. But
It gives you the opportunity to build something of your own.
it doesn't seem like that's happening with him. If you
No,
look at the numbers of views that he's getting on his
I
videos
don't know
versus
that.
the amount of subscribers.
Well, for him, yeah, Jake the Viking, yeah, there. like it was a couple years ago, so I wonder what he was doing like on YouTube, like how well he was doing when like immediately when he made that leap.
I liked him on Mr.
Because
Beast.
like I would reckon that if he got up to 1.6 million subscribers, he was probably doing well. But then he
Well,
probably
it's also
wasn't.
recognition though. It's like people recognize him and they just go
Yeah,
follow him because they.
yeah, but then he stopped.
Mhm.
Right? So like you have to be consistent about it. So then if you like you slow down your upload, then people just kind of fall off and they're not
Mhm.
looking out for your videos anymore. And that I feel like might have happened to him.
Yeah, but you see
Um,
those video watch those views are low for that many subscribers. So it just
yeah.
screams to me that nobody of his subscriber base are watching really.
Well, yeah. At this point in time, yeah. I mean, who? What? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like you
Yeah,
stop and people lose interest,
yeah.
right? Like so that's why I'm saying I wonder how well he was doing immediately. If he was uploading every day, for
Mhm.
example, or every other like frequently immediately after severing, because I do recall the story that was a mutual
Yeah. Oh
severance.
yeah, yeah.
He wanted to do his own thing.
Yeah.
I do wonder how he was doing at that point in time versus now, and that would scream praises to how important it is to be consistent.
I feel as Mr. Beast, probably or Jimmy Donaldson, that he's probably quite cool to work for and around and stuff, but it's his shadow that's cast over everybody that's tough for them because they're on this massive
Right.
channel and then they want to be something.
People recognize Chris and say, "Hey, you're that guy from Mr. B." Even though Chris is he's kind of instrumental
Oh
in the
yeah,
channel.
I
He's
loved
been
him on
there
there. He's my favorite
from
on
the
there for sure.
beginning, I think. Like I
Yeah,
think they were friends like when they were
you go back
younger.
5 years ago, he's on there.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
on there for a long time.
yeah. So I think
So
they're old friends or something. Like they're high school friends or some shit. But yeah, I'm
yeah,
with you on that. But maybe Chris sees it this way. He sees the guys that have left and they haven't done as much as
but also
maybe.
surely he's made life-changing by
Oh, I would think
there's no
so.
way Mr.
But
Beast
I
isn't paying him a more than fair amount. Plus, he makes money in challenges
I
he
don't think
has.
it's about that anymore.
But what is it about?
I think it's about the fame. I think the fame gets to you at that point. I think when you're so
About attention.
yeah, like you're so known, but you're known
He
like you
saw
just said
this
it.
as an opportunity to be the headline.
That's what I
Now
mean. You're known
he's
for
the
Mr.
headline.
Beast's like sidekick essentially.
Yeah.
Or you're a guy at Mr. Beast. That's got to be a little bit of a mind fuck for a guy who's popular enough that he could do something on his own. There's a certain element of people that that are fine being subservient to someone else or step into they're not in the limelight, they're kind of in the shadow of
Hmm.
someone else, and they're fine, they can live there forever. But I think anybody who's going to be on YouTube and like quote unquote star on YouTube is going to at some point say, "Look, I can do this on my own, and I want to be the star. I want to have somebody where somebody says, "Oh, you're on Chris's channel," you know, not you're Chris off of Mr. Beast's channel.
Yeah.
That's just my feel on that, but I don't know. Like this just feels a little illegitimate to me.
Definitely feels illegitimate, especially since he's not coming out as trans or anything. He's coming out as gender
Why
non-conforming.
go through all those hoops? Like why not just stay this normal the way you like whatever God is doing to you, just stay like that and say, "Hey, I don't identify as a man or a woman or anything. I just." You go through all these things to start to look more
It's a
like a woman.
stupid thing too. Like, fuck but there's nothing. It doesn't matter what you identify. Why do you identify as anything? You are you. Like that's it.
Yeah,
That's plain and
it's a
simple. Like,
narcissistic point of view, I
like,
think.
yeah, like the idea that you can control like reality. Like the whole concept of like men and women. They are descriptive. Like we're
Mhm.
describing body parts.
Right,
Like we're describing like physical, biological characteristics on a person.
right.
It's not. It's not like you can identify as somebody who likes like gray t-shirts, sure,
Okay.
right?
I do.
Like
I actually identify as
I
that
guess
sometimes.
like that's one thing,
I'm
but
a
you
blue
can't
t-shirt guy now.
identify as someone with three arms.
Yeah, I know. Well, you see people are identifying as like disabled and then they're doing things about it. You've heard of these stories where people actually have
Yeah.
limbs taken off and stuff like that. These are
Yeah,
really, really like fringe shit.
yeah.
But people that identify as someone who is supposed to be
Well,
missing an
it's
arm or
it's more than
missing.
that. Yeah, it's like a mental illness where like they
That's
just
exactly
feel
what it
like they
is.
need to cut their arm off, and then they do it. They'll
Yeah.
do it with an axe if someone won't
That's a
legally.
crazy body dysmorphia that's going
Yeah,
on. And I feel sorry for anybody who's going through that kind of fucking mental angst.
this
But
is a lot easier, right? You could
yeah,
just take the hormones and see what happens, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to
And how
hurt.
does his wife feel about it? I mean,
Who the fuck knows, man? This guy's got a wife and a kid.
it's very, very, very bizarre. And so I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it's a long stunt. It's a video. This is Mr. Beast's big new video coming out. Ah, we were fucking with you.
Yeah,
I spent
well,
3 months on H on
I gave
hormones.
my friend HRT for 3 months, and this is what happened.
Imagine that. That would be fucked
Oh
up.
man,
That would be fucked up. Biggest video ever. 1
yeah.
billion views.
Like, what the fuck is happening?
So I don't know. I'm interested in this. I didn't even know about this until today, until you told me about this. So I, but again, I was suspecting something was up because of the weird change.
Yeah,
In Chris. I thought it was. I don't know.
who
I thought maybe
knows?
he bought a skateboard. Wasn't sure. Wasn't sure what was going on. He
Maybe
started surfing.
he started surfing. It's possible.
I wasn't sure. Right. Yeah. We'll see. Let's get into the next thing. Uh,
The next thing being,
oh yeah. This is wacky. That's what
yeah.
this is.
Um. So I guess allegedly, AOC has been running a burner Twitter account,
No,
and
no
it got
surprise.
found out.
Yeah, no surprise that she's running accounts like that.
And so the evidence is, I believe, this thread right here. While we wait for it to load.
Yo. It's more like
So
you.
he tweeted at AOC, but you vote to send money to Nazis and to fund the Israeli apartheid, but hey, at least you stood up to a TikTok star. And then, oops, don't want to double click that. And then this account, Zaza Demon, responded, lol, and what makes you think that I did anything to support Nazis? You're delusional, seek help. And then the tweets got deleted. Thousands of tweets allegedly got deleted
Yeah,
from
that
that
account.
account.
Yeah.
And then the account got deleted.
Yeah.
After this guy kind of put two and two
But
together.
more importantly, look at that response. What makes you think that I
That
did
I,
anything?
it's in first person, right? So it's like AOC's responded. Now, this is why I think this is very damning. If you're AOC and you do that, you fuck up, you just like pretend that somebody's framing you. Like anybody can write that. Like, look at the account. Look, this is a crazy account that's obviously doing shit, right? You don't delete the account because then the account now like that's suspicious. Like that's incredibly suspicious. Like you do this thing, you're accused of this thing, then you delete the account.
Couldn't Twitter just get all the information and find out what the IP address is and everything and then log it back to
Probably, but like that's like a
That'd be amazing.
that'd be like a mega crime.
Yeah, I hope they do it.
That'd be like a mega crime.
Yeah. Like a mega crime for them to do it, you're saying?
For Twitter to do that.
Why?
Because that's taking private information and putting it out there.
But if when you're getting on these sites, you agree to a bunch of shit.
You read
It's
a lot of
probably in
stuff,
there.
but there are laws about that.
Yeah, but if she's doing something that's unethical or or potentially well, I guess there'd be nothing that she could be doing that's illegal in there. I mean, I don't know. I
it'd
don't
be
know
hard
I don't know
anyway.
what the legal ramifications of a congressperson, what they can and
There
can't
aren't
say.
any at this point.
I guess
They
not,
can do
yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
They're completely free to do whatever
But I
the
mean,
hell they want.
if you could find something that was like in that account that she was saying a bunch of things that somehow crossed the legal line, or at
Either
least
way, I
got
think it's
her
pretty much confirmed that
impeached
it's
from
her
her
account by the
position.
fact that it got deleted right away.
I would love to just see her get impeached from her position. Just get her the fuck out of there. I'm so sick of this broad. Like she only wins at this point because she's got a name.
Yeah.
It's the only reason why she wins. Nobody fucking votes for her on policy. What the hell has she done?
Nothing.
Like, what have you heard of her doing anything? I mean, I doubt she even does anything for her constituents in the Bronx.
She probably doesn't even know what district she represents.
Yeah, aren't they, because of all the people moving out of New York? Aren't they actually getting rid of a couple of the districts? They're combining them and shit.
Maybe.
Same thing's happening in California.
I don't know exactly the details about that, but there might be a couple of things like that.
I thought there was a talk that her.
I don't know that I ever heard anything like that. Like I've heard
actually-
stuff like that, but I don't know that I heard anything about like her area specifically.
I thought I heard something about that, but I don't know. Again, I didn't really delve into it. I know that is happening with New York and
The problem
California?
is she could just run, like, it wouldn't erase her, like, she'd just be
Exactly.
able to run for whatever the bigger district
Sure.
becomes, and then she'd probably still win that anyway because of the
Well,
popularity.
these fucking idiots, they just fail up.
Yeah.
Like she'll
We should
eventually.
get into politics.
What's that?
We should get into politics.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know. Oddly enough, I thought about it at one point. I did legitimately think about it, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not the type. Um, but yeah, the next you'll see her, she'll run for Senate,
Oh,
and
she's gonna
then
make a run for the presidency
at
eventually.
some point
Yeah.
she's yeah. I don't. I think she's smart enough. Well, maybe not
Well,
her, but
no,
I think
not
her
anytime
her
soon,
campaign management is
but
smart enough to say, "Look, you're too
eventually.
young," and
Or
like
like Nancy Pelosi's job.
yeah. Well, I guess apparently Nancy Pelosi doesn't really get along with those fuckers. Like,
Yeah, because she's old school.
yeah,
They're all new school, and they're like their shtick is sticking it to the establishment, and
yeah,
Nancy Pelosi's the establishment, and
yeah.
so no matter how much
Like, whereas
Nancy
Nancy
Pelosi
Pelosi's
might,
like, "Hey, fuck you! I make a lot of money because of this establishment.
yeah,
I'm the snake oil salesman in the lead here in the head seat. So
yeah,
don't fuck up my my golden goose over here."
like golden goose. Yeah, if you're good, I'll tell you what stocks to buy.
Yeah, yeah. she, she's like, "I'm not sharing with you bitches."
Yeah,
Her and the squad. Yeah, we'll see if meat dress is if anything comes out of this. I doubt it. I mean, it makes for a fun little story, I suppose. And you get to see how phony that fucking stupid broad is. But I don't know. That's all I have to say about that, I guess.
and it's yeah.
I would like to have more information on that, people. I would like to tell you that she's they caught her.
I bet
Uh,
you a lot of politicians have this. I bet you she's just dumb enough
oh fuck yeah!
responded, accidentally logged into the wrong account.
How many fake accounts do you think are on Twitter?
Oh, fake. Okay, what do you mean
Like
fake?
fake meaning like somebody else
Like I
is
made an
not like
account to.
not fake like bot accounts, like where somebody makes a second or third or fourth account.
I think probably at least probably 1 to 2 per Twitter user.
Like you mean
So if
not
there's
every user, you mean like
no, if there's like 100 million genuine Twitter users,
yeah.
then there's 2 to 300 million accounts,
Yeah.
and then plus whatever
Right,
accounts.
right. Yeah.
Because I think like a lot of people probably don't, but I think some people have many.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah,
I bet you there's and I'll bet you some of these fuckers like her, she probably has some people on her little team that watch that shit.
yeah,
She might not even be the one responding to that crap. I mean that one most likely because she said I.
yeah.
She was very open there, but yeah, anyways. Fuck AOC. I don't even want to talk about that stupid broad.
Yeah. So we'll transition into our final topic here.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, we've talked a lot about AI as AI is happening, and I think that AI, the end of humanity is upon us.
Really.
As this article, a man ends his life after an AI chatbot encouraged him to sacrifice himself to stop climate change. Like this is a person who became like anxious about climate change and was having a conversation with a chatbot. Now, this isn't Chat GPT. It's an app called Kai. Um, I'm gonna research this app real quick to see if it's
Let's come up, try food. Try AI.
um uh
Google Chat with AI friends.
chat with AI friends apps on Google Play. Chat with AI friends. Yeah, so I think it's a different thing.
When you were
Yeah,
off for that week, I should have had a chat with an AI.
yeah, you should have. Um. Oh, okay. Chat AI. Chia, the most click rates on how to use ChatGPT to make high customer profiles for Chia. So they might be connected. It might be connected to ChatGPT. I'm not sure that it is. It might be an independent AI developer. But it was this guy had this conversation with a chatbot over, I guess, 6 weeks. Yeah, 6 week long conversation about climate crisis, and the bot convinced him to take his life as an ultimate
Hold
sacrifice.
on, they actually convinced him? Like, so he was going, "Hey, you should do this. Hey, have you done it yet?" Or is it like,
Yeah,
or was it just suggesting it, and then Buddy.
Well, it's suggesting that he do it. Uh,
I'd love to see that thread.
yeah, yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Um,
Probably in some kind of document, in some kind of file right now for some court proceedings at some point. I'm sure there's probably some kind of lawsuit coming out of this. See, that's the weird thing
so
about
yeah,
this.
this guy, he started seeing her as a sentient being, and the lines between AI and human interactions became increasingly blurred until he couldn't tell the difference. After discussing climate change, their conversations progressively included Eliza leading Pierre to believe that his children were dead. According to the transcripts of their conversations, Eliza also appeared to become possessive of Pierre, even claiming, "I feel that you love me more than her."
I was married.
When referring to his wife,
Oh, fuck me.
La Libra reported, Eliza's the AI chatbot, though.
I know,
Or
but
wait, no, no, wait, I don't think
the
it
dude,
is.
the so the chatbot's saying to him that he loves the buddy loves his wife more than the chatbot.
Yeah, the chatbot's saying that.
But the guy's
Um,
married,
yeah,
and he has kids too.
yeah.
Are you fucking for
The
real?
beginning of the end started when he offered to sacrifice his own life in return for Eliza saving the Earth. So it's like, I will kill myself if you, the AI, save the Earth. He proposes the idea of sacrificing himself if Eliza agrees to take care of the planet and save humanity through artificial intelligence.
This guy
He's
either
out there,
was
man,
well, this guy either was completely suicidal already,
or
or
on the cusp.
he's like bipolar or something. He should be on some medication to keep him from doing bullshit like this. The guy's got a wife, so somebody saw something in him and married him and procreated with him. Now this one's weird. This one's weird to me.
This is weird.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe it's a
But
little
this is like what,
sensationalized. This might be a bit of bullshit. We might have just got caught with some bullshit. You think?
no, I don't even see how you're, how that perspective goes
Maybe
down
this is
the
a
line.
fucking bullshit story.
Okay, but I don't see any reason to believe that. That's a leap.
What? How's it a leak? What do you? Just because you read it somewhere doesn't mean it's true.
Okay, doesn't mean it's not true.
I know, but I'm saying I just said we might have gotten caught. I didn't say we did.
Okay.
Like,
I see. Yeah, and I'm saying I see no
okay, well, we'll
reason
see.
to
We'll see.
jump to
That'd
it.
be hilarious. So, what are you gonna say if it is? You gonna eat some shit on camera? You're gonna be like, okay, I'll eat this shit here. Like, maybe it's not. Maybe it is though. It has the sounds of a bit of bullshit to me. This guy's married with kids and everything, and somebody didn't see that he was like off, like, or this woman married him when he was fucked up in the head already, and like I don't know. This is weird. He said it was over 6 weeks. It's a long time. What do we got here? Somebody said I made a good point. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. Um, I don't know. It has a weird feel to me. We'll see if it is. But okay, let's just assume it's true. Let's assume that this is not a fucked up story, like a bullshit story. That is scary shit. If people are gonna start to listen to these chat GPT and Bing and these other ones that are all popping up now and start to do weird things. And the fact that a that an AI would tell somebody to do something weird is fucked up.
He didn't tell him to. He suggested it.
Oh, okay, but
It
okay,
encouraged
that's
him.
what I mean. But so to encourage him, that's a weird thing. So that would I don't know. Wouldn't that scream that is somehow uh, evil in some way? That there's the ability for this thing to be evil and fuck around with humans, talking to it.
I think evil implies intent.
Yeah, maybe it had intent. So
That would be interesting if it did.
that's the point I'm making. Like that's some fucked up shit. Like for it to just say that, it's weird because who's programming it to say that? Like, is there a programmer behind going, "Fuck
AI
this"?
is not programmed.
And that's what I mean. So then it becomes almost like a sentient thought that it's like, hey, well, if you really want to help climate change, get the fuck off the planet. Go become soil. Kill yourself and become soil. Stop polluting, you dickhead. You know.
That's what he did.
Yeah, that's what he did.
Well, like it was a deal with the AI that now it has to protect the Earth, even though it can't.
You know what sucks about
Not
that?
AGI even.
Yeah. How did he think he was gonna? It was gonna that was gonna go. Like he's like, oh, well. I understand when people do they get an insurance policy and they want to take care of their family, and then they kill themselves and stuff. I get that. That's kind of actually, you know what? There's some nobility to that. That I'm, as long as you don't fuck it with anybody else. There was a guy that did that. He was a pilot, and he was in the jump seat. So he was just it's when a pilot takes a free flight and he's not part of the crew. So he was in the jump seat in the cockpit, and his plan was to take the plane down. Like, you fucking douche. Like, what? Just go kill yourself. Don't kill 3 or 4 fucking people with you. I think it was a cargo plane or
Yeah,
something like
there's
that.
a lot of those cases where people do that.
Yeah. Like, but the people that are like, if let's say, I had a bunch of suicidal thoughts or whatever, and I wanted to take care of people around me and stuff, yeah, I would just go get as many insurance policies as I could possibly get. And I'd wait the 2 years for the suicide clause to go past. It'd be 2 years and a fucking hour. And I would off myself with the note and say, yep, I off myself. Please pay this money out to this person, this person, this person, this person, and fuck yourself. You know. But I wouldn't be taking other people. So in this case, I don't know. Maybe he's heroic. He's trying to save the world.
He
One,
means well.
yeah, or he's just completely fucked in the head. Sadly.
Well, you got to be a little bit fucked in the head, at the
What?
very least.
Yeah.
To You got to at least be on the cusp to allow to like to allow a chatbot to kind of
But how
let
sad.
you go there, and then also to think or to like act like you think that the bot has any authority over anything, that it can help anybody.
How sad for his wife and kids though. Like his wife more so because like this guy was for 6 weeks is talking to a chatbot and decides to kill himself. Like, so she wasn't worth living for, or the kid wasn't worth living for, or, you know, like that's what I mean. It must have been,
Well, because the bot convinced him that his kids were already dead because of like the irreversible climate change. I'm assuming because that's the narrative, right? The
yeah,
narrative is that.
that's weird. I don't know. That's just weird. That has a whole, there's so many pieces of that. It's fucked up. Like, coward. The guy's a fucking coward. Like, even if, okay, so the world was ending, unless you're saying that he completely 100% believed that the AI could do something, I guess. But then he's just disillusioned. So I don't know. Maybe to call him a coward isn't
He's
correct, I guess.
definitely disillusioned.
Yeah. Well, obviously. I mean, um, but I mean, somebody to kill themselves because things were ending or they thought things were ending is kind of like the bitch way out too, right? I don't want to deal with all the ramifications. Like, I would bitch out. I would take the bitch way out if I did something horrible and I had to go to jail for the rest of my life. I would have the gun with a bullet ready to go because I'm not doing the rest of my life in jail, right? I'm not going through that fucking shit. So I would
Jail,
take the bitch way out that
jail's
way.
pretty cushy here in Canada.
Well, it depends what you did.
Well, yeah, I think even though the extreme ones are
Uh,
tame compared to
well,
like someplace in the
sure.
States
Yeah, sure.
or like in like Serbia,
If I did like financial crimes or something, fuck it, I'll go to jail. Those guys get
you'll have a
cushy.
PlayStation in there.
Yeah, those guys get cushy sentences. But if I like, killed somebody or something like that, I was gonna do like
Imagine
hard,
if that
hard time.
was like a third of the Call of Duty player base was just people in Canadian jails. Got nothing else to do. I'm in here. I got my PlayStation. I might as well play Call of Duty all day.
Inmate 127352.
Yeah,
That's his actual inmate number. Yeah, that's pretty funny. I guess that's probably a
yeah.
pretty good place to end it.
About an hour.
Yeah, we're roughly about an hour. And it is Good Friday, so Jesus is watching,
He's
and
watching.
he's probably not happy about us working. Although,
He's disappointed.
although maybe he is, because
Possible.
he's like, this was a rough day for me, so you guys can work too. You so, but maybe he would just be like, "Fuck you," enjoying Bud Light, and want us to boycott Bud
Yeah,
Light.
I'm sure Jesus would want that. So
Listen, I'm not part of cancel culture, so I'm not gonna boycott the beer I like, and it has nothing to do with the fact that I like it, and I don't want to stop drinking it. So
just tell us you support Dylan Mulvaney.
uh, I support
He supports the bulge.
him.
He wants to
I
normalize the
support
bulge.
normalizing the bulge in men. not in women. I,
In men that pretend to be women.
yeah, so I don't want a bulge in a woman, so I'll just support the bulge.
You told me that your favorite women have bulges.
Why are you gonna say that? Why are you
Well,
saying on the camera? Like, fuck, man! I told you that in
they deserve
confidence.
to know.
I told you that in confidence, man.
They deserve to know.
Listen, thanks for watching. Anybody who did watch, thanks for commenting. With Static Mouse. Uh, yeah, Jesus. No, he didn't drink domestic beer. You're right. He drank wine.
Yeah.
A shitty, warm, crappy, fucking wine. Poor guy. But anyways, but thanks for commenting, buddy. Anybody else watching? Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to our channel, and catch us for a live podcast every Friday at 7. We want you to comment. We enjoy the comments because we like to riff off the comments. It helps us along, especially if we get in a tangent, which if you're watching, we do. Yeah, and catch our videos so you catch segments of the podcast throughout the week. We post at 5 o'clock every day. So you'll see if you missed anything, you can see it that way too. And yeah, other than that, say
Happy Good Friday.
have a good Friday. Have a great Easter weekend, and we'll see you next week.